So we want to print a multiplication table. We want to go from 0 to 10s, right? The 1s through all the 10s. And we want to do this with 2 loops and then 1 function. Okay, now one loop is going to be on the outside, and then another loop is going to be on the inside of the function. And so kind of give you a little bit of a hint here. Let's go ahead and create a function here called printTables that will take in a number as an argument. And so this function here is going to serve the purpose of this, what you see over here, where it's only going to give us from up here all the way down here. And we're going to supply it the number. And for example, if we supply it 1 that we see right here, it's going to go through its list of all the way to 10. So we're looping all the way through 10, and it's going to print these out for us. Okay. And then we'll worry about doing the next number and so on. But we should be able to supply the function a single number, whatever number we see here to the left, and it should do all 10 of them for us. And we're going to work on the function part first, and then we're going to move on to doing the loop. So hopefully that kind of made sense. All right, so again, feel free to pause the video and try it out yourself, and then we're going to code along and complete this challenge here together in this video. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to create a function called printTables, and it's going to take a number as an argument. So I'm just going to do something like this. I'm going to do function printTables, and then we're going to open up those curly brackets there. Now the next thing that we want to do inside of here is we want to create a for loop. Okay, now this for loop, we need to initialize this as 1. Remember, we don't want to initialize it to 0, because if we look over here, like it starts off at 1. So just remember, this I is going to control the right side of the equation. Okay, and then the number that's being inserted in here, that's going to be the left-hand side of that. Okay, so we have this loop here, and we want to continue on and be inside this loop utilizing this condition here as long as I is less than or equal to 10. So as long as we meet that condition, we're going to stay inside this loop. And then here's our little iterator where it is just adding 1 each time we go through the loop. All right, so again, if we're picturing this, let's go ahead and call the function here. We'll just do printTables, and we'll throw in a 2 in here. And let's just visually go through this in our mind to make sure that it makes sense to us. Okay, so if 2's going in here, right, and we get into our loop here, num is 2 times, and we start off with 1, so 2 times 1 equals, and then now here we're actually doing the calculation. Remember these backticks here, it's just we're doing the string interpolation here utilizing these backticks. These are backticks, not single quotes, if you're trying to code along. And then the $ curly boy just allows us to inject JavaScript variables inside of these, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and clear out my console, and then I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to run it. And as we can see here, we get all of the 2's, right? And if I put a 3 in here instead, I save it, and then I run it, boom, we get the 3's as well. Okay, so we now know that we have a function that is reusable, and we don't want to manually put in a 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10, because we could, right? We could do that, but it's much more beneficial if we utilize JavaScript programming called a loop, right? So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this, and then the next part that we need to do is we actually need the loop. And so we'll do something like this. We'll say, hey, let's go ahead and create a for loop. Let's go ahead and set I equal to 1. And we want to do this as long as I is less than or equal to 10. So that means we're going to get 10 of these tables, right? We're going to go from 1 all the way up to 10. And look at this right here. We're shoving in the I, okay? So if I save this and run it, let's go ahead and clear out this. We kind of get all a lot of tables in here, right? There's no definition on where they're all at. And so what we could do in here is let's just go ahead and do a little division line here, and we can do a console.log, and then we'll just throw in a little some hyphens in there to kind of give it a little better representation in the console, just so we can see a separation of numbers here. And if we scroll up, that's exactly what we had at the very beginning. Is we have our ones here, and then we have our twos over here, and so on. So again, something that is very reusable, just getting that practice, getting that repetition in, that we can utilize a loop in here instead of hard coding in all those values that we did before, and have a function that is definitely reusable in order to accomplish this challenge. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed the challenge, and we'll see you in another one.